Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A bit behind on schedule, but here we are with a boss guide on Ares. In this video, we will look at his immunities and passives, how to dex his heavy attacks and the Degen damage. We will also learn about how to identify and dex his special attacks and what are Vigor Charges and the gameplay loop for this fight. What will be the best counters and also how many revives will be needed and where to farm them. Followed by a face-by-face breakdown of this fight. And as a bonus, if you stick till the end of the video, I will also show you how to defeat Ares without being able to identify and learn his special attacks dex. So let's jump into it and let's bring down this mammoth. Ares has been given almost everything in terms of immunities and passives. That includes your stun immunity, power control, slow debuff immunity and any damage over time effects. And if that wasn't enough, Ares' armor and resistance ratings cannot be modified. And furthermore, your attack and critical ratings along with your special attack damage will be locked at the beginning of the fight. So, a pro tip here would be to max boost before you go against Ares for the first time so your damage ratings can be locked in while boosted. Ares' heavy attack has 2 hits. First move is a shoulder shove and second one is a machine gun bullet blast that reaches across the screen. And you cannot space it out. As Ares is going to be stun immune, he will use heavy attacks quite a lot. So your first element would be to learn how to dex the heavy attack. To dex the heavy attack, simply dex the shove. The shove cannot be missed. And your second dex should start when he pulls out his machine gun. Personally, it took me 4 to 5 tries before I got the timing down. It's a small little thing, but we need to learn it. Now, as for the Degen damage, you will keep losing 1% of your HP every second until you reach the same HP percentage as Ares. So at any given time, yours and Ares' HP percentage are going to be equal. You cannot exceed him. But what you can do as a pro tip, that you heal fully before you go in after revives. As you will lose only 1% of your health every second, especially with the increased health with the boost, it gives you a little more time to survive and tank a special if you mess up. Ares' special attacks are the most challenging learning element of this fight. Now Ares carries with him 4 different weapons and uses them differently in Special 1 and Special 2. You can identify these weapons with the color flash on the screen or looking at the weapon he used. Now each weapon or color needs a specific input from us to avoid the specific hit and get a successful green flash on our attacker. There is a sword with a blue flash, you have to use a parry. There is a spear with a yellow flash, you have to use a light attack. There is an axe with an orange flash and you have to use a dodge. And finally there is bullets with his machine gun with red flash, you have to swipe up on the right side of your screen. So, let's look at both the special attacks now and look at their sequence and how to avoid their hits in slow-mo. Ares is going to use his weapons 5 times in SP1. Starting with an axe attack, for which you need to dodge. Then a sword attack, for which you need to parry. Followed by another sword attack, for which you need to parry again. And then to avoid his spear, you have to use a light attack. And finally, the axe attack, you avoid it with a dodge again. So the sequence you need to remember in the heat of battle is dodge, parry, parry, light, dodge. Similarly for SP2, there are going to be 6 attacks from Ares. Starting with a sword attack, you will need to parry. Followed by another sword attack, you will need to parry again. Then a light attack to thwart his spear attack, and prompting Ares to use his axe next, for which you will use a dodge. Another axe attack, making you use dodge again, and finally bullets from his machine gun that you avoid with a swipe up on the right side of the screen. So the sequence you need to remember for SP2 is parry, parry, light, dodge, dodge, swipe up. Now, as we understand the specials now, we have to pay close attention to identify them in the first place and how to follow this respective sequence. I know it's a lot going on. Trust me, it will become easier. Now, there are plenty of cues that have been shared across the community. The first one is to look at the weapon used as the first hit. If it's a sword with a blue flash, it's an SP2, you go with the SP2 sequence. If it's an axe with an orange flash for SP1, then you go with the SP1 sequence. The second cue is the arm position. If he's reaching back with both of his arms, it's an SP2. And if he's reaching back with one arm, it's an SP1. But to be honest, these do not give you enough time to react to the respective sequence. So my favorite one is the eye flash before the kick. Now, Ares' eyes will flash twice for an SP2 and will flash once for an SP1. Honestly, this eye flash gave me enough time to adjust to the sequence needed to avoid the special hits every single time. Now, a pro tip here to improve your practice would be look at the guides and the gameplay available from the community about Ares. There's plenty of videos out there. Watch them and then try to guess the special attack he's going to use from his phase 2 onwards. Look at the eyes and that will help you determine and guess if it's an SP2 or an SP1. Once you watch enough of those, you will easily predict the SP2 and SP1. I personally use this and it helped me out a lot. To tie everything up together, let me show you something else. If you look closely at the inputs of SP1 and SP2, they have a very similar pattern. 4 of the prompts are the same with just extra prompts at the end of SP2. Learn that and the muscle memory will kick in to help you once you've done the fight 2 or 3 times. Try to keep a small sticky note for a quick peek at the actions to avoid any special attack hits. I know it's easier said than done, but with every practice, the number of revives you're going to use is going to reduce and you're going to get used to the special attacks. Now that we understand the special, this brings us to the gameplay loop and the goal of the fight. Now you have to bring down Ares throughout his different phases, with the core mechanic being to identify and avoid his special attacks while stacking up those Vigor Charges. For every successful hit we avoid from the special attack, we gain a Vigor passive that increases our damage and helps us bring down Ares a little faster. But remember, these passives are reset at the end of every phase. So a pro tip here is to stack as many Vigor Charges for higher damage on Ares. But don't worry, if you die and revive your champ, you gain an indefinite Vigor passive and it stays till the end of the fight. So farm a lot of revives and use the same champion over and over. Now I like this because this gives a fair chance to every skill level and motivation to get through this fight and learn the hard mechanics. So I would say big props to Kabam, and later I will show you how much revives it costs me so you will understand more of what I'm talking about. The fight is designed in a way where you don't need specific counters. Any champion, and I mean any champion, can work as long as you learn how to avoid the special attack hits or farm enough revives. Now speaking of revives, your best plays to farm them are going to be your daily Epoch quest, your arena for units to buy revives, or your daily solo event on which milestone number 1 you get a revive. There is also Spider-Man variant Classic 3.2, but I'm not sure how available the revives are there, but you can give it a try. Now, as a pro tip, let me share with you the number of revives that cost me while I was going through this multiple times. Now, every time I went against Ares, my number of revives reduced. So here is my run, and you can see for the first time it cost me 75, down to 53, then to 39, 22, 11, and the last one cost me only 6 revives. So the more you play against Ares, the easier he gets, the more you learn the mechanics. So starting off with phase 1, this is going to be an intro phase, 100% HP to 90% HP. You can either push Ares to an SP1 or an SP2, whichever you want to practice. So I like to go for the SP1s. 1 eye flash, I know it right away. So Dex, parry, light, Dex. Keep a note on the Vigor Charges. I was able to avoid 5 hits with the correct input. So I have 5 Vigor Charges now. So my damage has increased. He's going to throw a lot of heavies, so be prepared to evade those. And once you push him to an SP1 again, here comes another SP1. So I want you to notice here that I used the Dex, parry, and the second parry I did it too early because there's a slower tempo in the first phase and it gets faster every phase. So you have to keep an eye on that. So I'm going to push him again to an SP1. I'm going to Dex it out. One eye flash, that's an SP1. So Dex, parry, parry, light, and Dex. I have 12 of those Vigor Charges, so my damage is a bit increased. So the more I stack those Vigor Charges, the more damage I'm going to do. And keep a lookout on that SP1. He's going to go from 95% down to 91. And look at that damage because I've stacked up more charges. That's the last SP1. I'm going to get all the Vigor Charges and push him to phase 2 at 90%. As soon as you hit 90%, after the slow-mo, all the Vigors are converted into Intimidate. So those are 17 Intimidate. After, he's going to get Unblockable, Unstoppable, and Indestructible for 5 seconds. And then you're back in business. So again, here, he's not going to throw any special until he gets to 2 bars of power. And after that, he will throw any special attack randomly. So this is where you need to identify the special attacks to follow the right pattern. So that is one eye flash. So Dex, parry, parry, light, and Dex again, and we are good. That was 5 hits, so I've got 5 Vigor Charges for it, and my damage has increased. I am going to push him to an SP2 again. If he is not being aggressive, you can hit him in the block, or you can let him throw a heavy attack and you can go back in. So he's going to throw an SP here again. That's 2 eye flash. That was very evident. So parry, parry, light, Dex, Dex, and swipe up on the right side, and you're good to go back in. 11 of those Vigor Charges, and I can do quite a bit of damage in one SP2. 56,000, 338,000. He's down to 85% again. Now he's going to throw a special attack again. I'm going to keep an eye on his eyes, no pun intended. That was one eye flash, so I'm going to follow the pattern for SP1. Now I'm going to mention the pattern every time he throws a special attack, so you get used to it. My biggest tip here would be really focus on the eye flash because the other cues are like very late, so you're not able to sort yourself out and follow the right pattern. But if you get used to the eye flash, you can very quickly adjust, and you can have a small sticky note in front of you and you can follow the right pattern. So I would suggest watch a lot of YouTube videos on ARES and try to guess, because that footage you're not aware what kind of special attack ARES is throwing. So that would really help you. This helped me a lot. So I watched a lot of footage on ARES and I started guessing, okay, what is going to be the next special attack? Is it going to be an SP2, an SP1? And I really focused on the eyes. And after watching like 8 to 10 videos, I could very easily predict which special is going to be. And that's how my gameplay improved. And I was able to get to 2 of these phases without dying and stacking up a bunch of Vigor, 29 right now. So there is going to be one more SP2 special attack, that is SP1. I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to push him to a phase 3 at 60%. At 60% health, you are going to trigger phase 3, and now there is another mechanic added, that is Acts of Aggression. So you see the 2 gray icons underneath ARES health bar. Those are the extended actions that you have to perform after you evade successfully all of his special attacks. If you are unable to do that, if you use the wrong action, you are going to be thrown back with a reversal just like that, and you take a bunch of damage. So to avoid that, I would say just keep an eye on those gray icons and use the right actions. Now the actions come in 4 different combinations. The first one is medium light. The next one is going to be a medium into heavy. There is also dash back and then dash back in, and there is a medium changed with a special attack. If you fail any prompt, any one of them, you are going to be knocked back and you might possibly die. So a pro tip here is to not to worry about those charges at all. After you dex a special, just stay back, just chill right there, just like me. Wait for the cooldowns on the acts of aggression and then you can go back in. So I'm going to do that throughout this phase to keep an eye on that. And just a bit of intercepts, ending up with the special 2 for some good damage. Now I'm going to wait for him to throw that special attack. All in the meanwhile, I am gaining all of those vigor charges, so those are important. So another vigor right here for every hit avoided. Made a mistake here, misread the tempo, and then I have to go back in again. He's still going to throw a lot of heavy, so you can dex the heavy attack and find your opening. So here we are. Look at the special attack. We're going to wait for his eyes. So that's one eye flash. That's an SP1. Dex, parry, parry, light, and dex. And I'm staying there. I'm not going in. I'm waiting for the cooldown, and now it's safe to go back in. So if you have that timing down, you can easily get through this fight. So phase 3 is going to last from 60% health to 30%. And with a big SP2, I'm going to launch myself into phase 4. And we are going to wait out his unstoppable, unblockable, and indestructible charges before we go back him in phase 4. Now, after the slow-mo and he starts phase 4, after finishing off the intimidates and the buffs, if everything wasn't enough, at phase 4, at 30% HP to 1% HP, all the vigor charges are removed and they are converted. Now, there is a new mechanic called haste that grants Ares unstoppable every time he will dash in, and it will prevent us from doing any kind of intercepts. Now, if you look at the icon just below the health bar with the unstoppable on cooldown, that's the one. You have 20 seconds before it comes online. Now, again, here, let's recap what are the challenges that have been building up from phase 1 all the way to phase 4. So in phase 1, it was just an introductory phase. It was just telling you how to evade the specials. On phase 2, the specials, they began to randomize because you would only throw specials at 2 bars of power. In phase 3, X of Aggression was added, so that was basically extra attack inputs after you finish off avoiding the special attacks. And in phase 4, there is a haste buff that is added, so every 20 seconds, he is going to get haste on him that will not only quicken his special attack animations, but also he will go unstoppable whenever he will dash into you, so that stops you from kind of intercepting. So how you play around it? You just wait. You take some hits on your block, you let him throw a heavy attack, and that gives you the opening. Focus on evading those special attacks the right way so you can keep building up those vigors. The smoothest way to get through this fight is by avoiding those specials so you can build more and more vigor. That makes the fight go by faster. So here I just died, but notice that I came back with a full bar of power. Although I am losing my health with Degen at 1%, still if I mess up just like that, it gives me an opportunity to go back into the fight. So I'm going to push him to and SP2 here. He still hasn't got haste, so I'm ready for the special attack he's going to throw. That's one eye flash, SP1, dex, parry, parry, light, and dex. I'm gonna chill at the back because of X of Aggression. Wait for the heavy attack. Now I don't have to worry about unstoppable because I just waited for his heavy. I am not dashing into him. That's another special attack on him. And just before we know it, we are building enough vigor to get through this phase. I think this is the phase where I made the most mistakes, so it took me a little longer. A pro tip for this phase is do not worry about the X of Aggression or the haste phase or the haste that Ares gets. Only focus on dexing the specials and just standing there and chill. I know your HP is going to reduce as per Ares HP. You cannot be higher than that, and if you are, you're going to degen down. But let him throw a heavy attack just like this, and you go back in. It's better to do more damage, a safe damage, than to try and intercept him because he's going to get unstoppable and you're going to get spanked and you're gonna die. So again here, that's an SP2 wait. After this, I'm just gonna stand and just chill. Wait for the X of Aggression to go away, let him throw a heavy attack, and now it's my opportunity. I've built up 21 charges and that is helping me do quite a bit of damage even with the 4 or 5 hits. That is the most safest way. Do not engage with the X of Aggression or the unstoppable at all. My way of making this fight super simple to manage. So the only thing you care about is the special attack dex. At 1% HP, you're going to trigger Ares phase 5, in which he goes unblockable for the whole phase. After the slow-mo, he will get 99 immortality charges that you can notice just underneath his health bar in purple. Now every time you're going to evade one of the hits on his special attack, you are going to remove 3 charges every time. So SP1 has 5 actions, so you're going to remove 15 charges, and SP2 is going to have 6 actions, so you're going to remove 18 charges if you successfully avoid all of those hits. The goal here is to bring down the charges to 0 so you can knock out ARES. You also remove charges when you are going to intercept him, 2 charges that way, and you can also remove 1 charge whenever you revive. So this phase is going to be annoying when you do it the first time, but slowly you get used to the special attacks, so that will help you get through this phase faster. This time around, this was my number 5th or 6th try, and it cost me only 2 revives here, but before this phase took around 10 to 15 of mine. My first ever run with the Photon against ARES cost me 75 revives in total. So what happens when he throws a special attack? X of aggression is still there, haste is still there. So after the first 20 seconds, the haste is activated and he goes unstoppable whenever he tries to dash in. So all you need to do is to dash back and chill, wait for him to block, and then hit him in his block to let him gain power and push him to 2 bars. Now I died there, I came back, and if you notice, I've got 5 Vigor Charges already. That is because I've died 5 times and I've gained a permanent Vigor Charge throughout the fight. So whenever you die throughout the fight, if you use the same champion over and over, for every revive, you get 1 Vigor Charge. So eventually your damage does increase. So this is a really great mechanic. So it gives an even playing field to a summoner who understands the fight, like MSD, or somebody like me who took a lot of revives to learn it. So that is a good balancing act by Kabam. So right here, there's only 11 charges remaining. So this is going to be the last SP2 that I'm going to evade, and look at the slow-mo. All the charges are removed. All I need to do now is to hit either in his block or just hit him and he will just die, and boom, congratulations, ARES is down. So if you have stayed till end of the video, now I will share with you the bonus trick on how to defeat ARES without being able to identify or knowing how to avoid his special attack hits. Now I would suggest to attempt this takedown only if you're going for completion. If you're planning to do exploration, then it's more worth it to learn the mechanics of the fight and get through them. So to defeat ARES without specials, please ensure first to take the easy path. Now, there is no such easy path in the Epoch of Pain, but it depends which champion you have at rank 3. My top 3 options are: if you have Silk, go for path 1. If you have Sentry, go for path 2. And if you have a Serpent, go for path 4. Needless to say, they have to be at rank 3. Now, at the minimum, I would advise you to learn the SP1 decks, because every time ARES triggers a special attack, there is a 62% chance that he's going to throw an SP1. Now you're going to ask me, noob, how you can be so sure that it's 61% chance? I've looked at every single special attack from my all 6 runs and I've tallied them, and for every one the ratio becomes like 60% is SP1 and 40% is almost SP2. So if you only learn the pattern of SP1, you're already avoiding 60% of the special ones. So whenever he is going to throw a special attack, don't worry about identifying, don't worry about looking at the eye flash. Just wait for the kick and then go into the SP1 pattern. If you fail, you die, that's okay. You will revive, you have a lot of revives, and you will come back with 1 more permanent vigor. But if you guess right, you get more vigors and you stand to fight a little more, and you can do a bit more damage. The combination of only using the SP1 pattern and the revives is going to give you a lot more vigor, and you will be surprised that you can get through the fight. Now this strategy will only carry you to phase 4. For phase 5, you will have to do a lot of intercepts. Again, if he throws a special in phase 5, by all means just do the SP1 pattern, and if you get lucky, if an SP1, 60% of the time, I'm hoping, you will be able to remove 15 charges. But if not, every time you die, you're going to remove 1 charge with a revive. And for the first 20 seconds of the fight, the haste is not activated on ARES. So you can do 2 hit intercepts. From my runs, I've seen that the 2-hit intercepts are the best way to go. So you go in, you do 2 hits, you swipe back, you go in, you 2 hits, you swipe back, and every time for a successful intercept, you will remove 2 more of those immortality charges. And with a few dexes of SP1, you will be surprised how quickly you will be able to bring down ARES. I had the worst run and it took me 75 revives. I'm sure you can do it in 40 or 45. Once those Vigor Charges hit 30, the permanent ones for every revive, your champion does hit very hard. Just make sure you use the same champion over and over. So let me know in the comment section down below if this strategy helped you. What did you think about it? I've tried my best to explain it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and send your questions out to the community in the comment section down below, and I'll see you on the next video that is going to be part 1. Bye.